Good morning, Miami. Welcome to Wonder Women. My name is Yolanda Carvajal, and this is another great show with a wonderful lady, Farides García from Parent to Parent, Miami, correct?
Miami, yeah.
Of Miami. She's here to share her story. I met her at Chamber South with Rick.
Yeah.
And who doesn't know Rick? What a wonderful gentleman.
He is. He's wonderful. He really
is. So helpful.
He is.
He's always there for his community. And if you ever give him a call, he'll always direct you to someone that you need any connections. So,
yeah. And with a smile.
With a smile. And he talks with a lot of passion.
Yes.
So thank you, Rick, for this introduction to Ms. Garcia. So she's from Parent to Parent of Miami, and it's a beautiful foundation.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about yourself first. Are you from Miami?
I am from Miami, imported from Cuba. Very, very small child, but chiquitica. But I've lived in Miami all my life, so I have to call Miami my home. Luckily, I went through all my schooling here, graduated University of Miami.
Oh,
so
wow.
go Canes.
Go you.
Go Canes. So yeah, so it's been great. I grew up here, like I said, married, have 2 children. So my life is here. And I've embraced the craziness of Miami, and I love it. So, when people say it's a little hectic, I say, yes, it is. But,
So when you started with Parent to Parent, I know you are the
President and
CEO.
Mm-hmm.
But did you start as the president and CEO?
Oh, goodness. No. No, not at all. I've been with the organization now for 20 years. So luckily, when I have a son with autism, and that starts my journey into the world of disability. And so back in 2004, I joined the Board of Trustees for Parent to Parent of Miami. I wanted to start giving back and advocating and supporting an organization that gave so much to the parents out there in our community. So I was there, went through, became board president. And then in 2009, I transitioned from the board onto staff. And then became operations manager from 2011 to 2021 for 10 years, running the financial part, the backside,
Very important part.
Yeah, we had a great CEO, Farides García, who was our founding CEO, worked very closely with her. And then in 2021, I transitioned into president CEO role.
So how did Parent to Parent start? I know you told me it was a group
of parents. So it really was back in the late 80s, group of parents that were, really seeking that support from other parents, Yolanda. Everybody just wanted to you always want to find your clan, right?
Of course.
And it's important to be able to, and it's your community. Yes.
About their journey.
Yeah.
And with your son.
Yeah. And so it was other parents that had kids with disabilities that they wanted to, help each other out, help them in the day-to-days, give them information, community resources, and really be able to, help them. That advocacy is really important for special education. So it was a lot where, even though we had a federal law, we still were battling a lot. It still does continue, which is why we're still, very much active. You do want to be able to advocate for making sure that, children with disabilities find their place and have a place, and that inclusion is real and not just token.
And especially I feel like as a mother, I remember when I had my first daughter, autism wasn't really talked about that much, or everybody was trying to find, like I was mentioning earlier, what was the cause of it, but we weren't really thinking of how to take care of this child with autism.
Yeah.
So Parent to Parent, bringing that communication, you give them the resources of how to help them, correct?
Yeah, you do. I mean, we work with not just the autism piece, because it's all disabilities.
There's all disabilities.
But it is true, autism has spiraled out. There's so many children that are diagnosed all the time with, within the spectrum. And so really it's that news is very shocking. I think that the reason that we have been able to be around for 37 years is the fact that 37 years since we started. Thank you. It's been a work hard work from a lot of people that
And
have cared through the years.
And to keep a foundation, people don't realize how keeping a foundation for 37 years is a lot of hard work and a lot of commitment.
It is. It is.
It's not easy.
Yeah. No, it really isn't. And you need to find that good balance. Yeah, you do. I think if you're drawn to working, for example, at our office, the majority are parents who have children with disabilities who are on their own journey and they want to be able to give back. Maybe they are now in better standing. You know, they have figured it out a little bit more for their kids and they want to help that other parent that might be just starting a journey.
Right.
And so there is so much commonality, that peer support of having another parent on the other end to listen to you.
Listen and understand.
Yeah, and understand. And without judgment. I think that's the
word,
piece.
judgment.
You have courageous conversations with people that at times may not be maybe PC to talk about, but within those fears, within that doubt, you can share openly, freely, no judgment. And hopefully you have somebody on the other end that says to you, you know, I was there, but let me tell you my little journey and where we're at now. And, you know, and you get them hopefully to a better place. Our tagline, one of them is hope, help, support. And Yolanda, that's so important because you need to have hope that things will get better.
Right.
You need to get the help that you need to support you, your child, your family along the way.
I think hope is such a powerful word. And I think right now with what we're going through in our communities and the country, I think that's the trigger word is hope.
Yeah.
We have to find hope at the end of anything we're doing.
Yeah.
If it's with a child with disability or everyday life, you have to be hopeful.
You do because, you know, and we don't say false hope. I mean, we understand some of our families are really facing very difficult circumstances with their children. And at times you could see your life, how difficult it is.
Fear.
Yeah. So
And
there's
fear.
a lot of doubt of what's going to happen, but you can't live in the fear. You can't live in
so
the
you
doubt.
Give them the hope.
So you want to, and you want to say, you have to do this. You empower.
Right.
Empowering families is what we want to do.
So what specific hope do you give them? I know there's a lot of, you direct them to a lot of organizations or
And
resources.
services. Yeah.
Can you give me some examples? of
Sure.
those?
So, you know, depending, we work with each family very individually. So we help families where they're at. And some of them may be just starting their journey, might even be not knowing that there is an actual diagnosis. They have this doubt. And so we're helping them. Is their child really not doing well in preschool, or maybe now finally that kinder, first grade? You know, those academics are really difficult for them. And so we're helping them go towards that child find process, towards that early intervention, and giving them those step-by-steps. I think that's really important. It's that guidance, right? So it's saying, you know, don't, you know, it's not, you can't say it's not there. You know, don't ignore it because time is precious for children. So you want to help them through. And so we give them those abilities to be able to say, this is where you have to turn to, do direct referrals. This is what they're going to ask. This is the process. This is what's going to happen. Once you get this, then we'll give you the next steps. We help them, you know, kind of break through. They get, you know, all these words and acronyms that nobody should know about, right? It's difficult. So it's a whole new world that opens. And so if there is a disability, if there is some kind of, you know, learning concern, then we can help them. What is the school system going to offer you?
Which schools they could go to?
Yeah.
Correct?
What are the programs that are available? What is this federal law? You know, there is a federal law for special education.
Can you share a little bit about specifics of the federal law?
Sure. It's called the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA. And so what IDEA promises to every student with a disability is a free and appropriate public education. Wow. And they have their rights to be in a public school system that works for them, that is able to help them in their academic journey so that later on in life they are independent, they can fulfill their education, right? And so we're helping parents understand that because not until you have that knowledge can you start becoming an advocate for your child. You know, and when we say advocate, it's advocate to speak up with knowledge, to know that you have things that are backed up, right? You're backed with your right. You have rights. Your child has rights.
You know how to defend yourself.
Yeah, and not in an aggressive, you know, way. We want to work collaboratively, and we do. A lot of times, we walk in towards, let's say, these school meetings that are done, and sometimes parents have not been able to be successful. So we're able to go with them and advocate for their child, right? The school system is there for the children.
Because you give them support.
Yeah, you do. You want to give that
when
support.
When you start, you're usually a little bit nervous. Eventually, they could probably go on their own.
They do.
Right?
Yeah.
But at first, you just need that support person.
You do.
To say the right words. Because at that point, you're probably very emotional.
It is. It's a very emotional process.
Right.
I think what happens is that it's really hard to hear all the negatives about your child, which a lot of times is what happens. We focus on the negatives. It is. And as a parent, you're like, wow, but nobody gets to see the positives, right? The abilities that are there. Right. And so I think what we try to help our parents also is to be able to speak up for the kids, to say, I know these are the limitations, but this is what they can do.
Right.
So how about if we focus on what they can do, expand on it, and give them those good goals so that academically they can grow and be able to be successful.
I remember with my kids, every time obviously my kids don't have any disabilities, but when they get stuck on something or they just become very negative, at that moment you do that reverse and you do, let's talk about the positives that you do. Yeah. So it just directs you to that negativity that you had, directs you to see it in a different way and, meet your goal.
Yeah.
And
to move forward.
I
mean, a lot of times, our kids are, have sometimes medically complex
Everybody
issues.
has different direction. It doesn't, there's no direction specific, you could take any, what's the best direction for you and for your child.
Yeah. And a child now is very different from your child that's going to be in a few years down 100%. The road. So you say, don't look too far, but realize that your child will grow, will learn, will become this person who they are meant to be. And we help them because sometimes we do get stuck with the little child or the younger person. But we have to focus that this little person does grow up to become a youth, an adult, and how we're going to help them also in their journey.
That's something nice that you're saying, because I feel like a lot of times, even though my children don't have a disability, we want to baby them a lot. And sometimes you just have to let go.
Oh, yeah. That's a big conversation that we have with parents, because it's funny,
you have to give them independence.
You do. And you need to feel okay as a parent, even though you have the fear, because it is, sometimes our youth with disabilities have their limitations, but it's amazing what they can do when you allow them to grow, to become their person, to find their voice. Themselves. They become great self-advocates for themselves. They get to open, and they have to start learning and doing that for their own. And so that's one of the things we've been really good. We have a new youth engagement council that we're working with youth with disabilities from like about 14 till about 24, 25, I think is our oldest member.
Which is a great age.
Yeah. And so they're making friends. They have found this commonality. Yeah, it's really nice. And they've been able to... In my time,
it was called a youth group.
Yeah, it is a youth group. But our YEC is really great because they all have disabilities, different disabilities. And you've seen how friendships have formed. They're doing this not just within the council.
Each other.
They do. They help each other. They have outings. They've become friends. And a lot of times what we hear from parents is, thank you. This is the first time that my son or daughter have found a good space and people that have become friends to her, to him. And it's great to see because there is isolation. There is a lot of isolation. Unfortunately. And that's what you want to break down. Right. You want to break down the isolation. Yeah.
The world is pretty cruel, you know. And
it is difficult. When you look a little different, sometimes it's nature for people to be curious. And I think it's okay. That's why, I've always been open about talking about my son's disability. And we encourage parents.
A little bit about it.
Because it's okay. When something's happening, that's not what is expected. I think that if you are honest and say, well, David's having a hard time now with all the noise going on. So give him a few seconds to settle down and it'll be okay. Because it is different. So you can't just realize it's not there. I think that, but then having people have that compassion and understanding and empathy for somebody who is experiencing life maybe in a different way.
Right.
And that's what you want to hopefully foster in other kids and other students and adults, and not just stare, but understand that maybe it's it's different for this family that's in front of you right now.
Right.
And give them that grace to,
that space.
allow them,
Yes.
to get it better.
Get it better and
Yeah.
and empower themselves to express themselves instead of walking away
Sure.
and ignoring it.
Yeah.
Because I think I look back with my children. My children went to Blue Lakes Elementary, and there was a lot of children with autism. And, a lot of children just look away. And you shouldn't do that. You should look straight forward and just pat them in the back if they want to, or just
think
acknowledge
about
them.
Think
that
about
they're
how
there.
great it would be to have for that child to have a new friend.
Yes,
they
of
might be able to
course.
help them on the playground. They might be able to help them in the classroom. They might be the one that helps them as they go in the hallway from one class to another. We all want friends. We all want to fit in.
Right.
So it's up to us.
So you do also have a support system for parents. You mentioned to me. Can you tell me a little bit about what?
So
it's new, right?
It is new.
It's a
Charlemos.
baby.
Yeah, it's a baby. We've had 3 sessions now. So
that's wonderful.
It's focused for the Spanish-speaking families who were
very
really
important, especially for our community.
Yeah, we have a big Hispanic population in Miami-Dade.
Yes.
And so the families that we help also mirror the population. So we had 2 staff members that, stepped up and said, we want to do this. We call it Charlemos. So Charlemos is a support group for the parents. It's done all in Spanish once a month, and it steadily has been growing. So we even had a few dads join us, which is great.
Nice.
Because the dads are a little bit more quiet on, on the front. But
dads are different from moms sometimes.
they are. We process information differently. And that's good. Okay. Everybody has their own angle.
There's no there's no such thing as perfection.
No, there really is. And so it's been really nice. It's been really nice to be able to offer that for the Spanish-speaking families, because a lot of times you do have, groups that might be available in English, but not for the only Spanish speakers. And then we also have another group that has been actually ongoing for the last 2 or 3 years for our African-American Creole-speaking families. And that's been
wonderful.
Another group as well that has done really great. They come together. We have 2 other staff from the community that they are able to talk and, just share. And it's really nothing formal. You could have topics.
Community is so it's so big here in Florida. I don't even really think we realize it, right?
Yeah.
And I was at the Hill just recently, and we were meeting with one of the congressmen, and one of their aides spoke in Creole, and there was a person in Creole, and she automatically connected, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And her mission, what she wanted to tell him, came out even more direct, right? Because she was able to communicate. Because when you speak in your own language, like I was mentioning to you, your native language, there's a different emotion to it, right?
Your emotions come in, right? They really kick in.
As Cubans, we start moving our hands.
Our hands, we're moving our hands. Yeah, it is. It's true. And that's why. So we've always tried.
That's a great thing that you're doing for Creole.
And we've always done, all the support has always been in English and Spanish and Creole when we have someone on staff. Wonderful. And it's great because you're really trying to help the parent in their native language.
So how do you get your funding from parent to parent?
Well, luckily, locally here, we do get a majority of our funding from the Children's Trust. We've been funded with them. They are an amazing benefit to the community that we are in. So, since 2004, we've had funding for them through their parenting initiatives. So that has been wonderful. Prior, we also had we still have funding through our federal government, through the Office of Special Education Programs. Right. We do get the funding, which is how we started as a community parent resource center. That's how we started with, the grant through the federal government, and that we hope to continue to keep.
I hope so.
Moving forward, there's been a big push to be able to do that. We are funded through special education law federally, and so the parent centers like ours are really important for the families. They really are. And so, we really are working hand in hand with our big entire Miami-Dade County. Wow. And so the funding comes from them, and then the fundraising that we do.
So tell me a little bit of fundraising.
Yeah.
Do you have events throughout the year?
We do. Well, we have one big major event, which coming up.
Okay.
November 7th.
Right?
Yeah. November 7th. We have it coming up. And we it's our 21st year.
Wow.
And so it's our Journey of Dreams.
21. My mom's favorite number.
We're legal now. So we are going to be, we're doing it at the JW Marriott once again on Brickell. We call it our Journey of Dreams. This
Beautiful
year is
name.
Reaching for the Stars. Yeah, I think
Journey of
when we
Dreams.
started 21 years ago, we always thought of the focus of the journey. Journey of Dreams has always been there, the name of the event. And it really is a way that we can celebrate. Also, we have 2 great honorees this year. We always have honorees.
Oh, that's
We
nice.
highlight people in our community that are doing really great work. And so we have Aida Diaz-Iveira from Caba Pro Bono.
Caba Pro Bono.
Caba Pro Bono. And they have a neurodivergent program that we've been able to refer our families to, where they're giving free guardian advocacy support.
Wow.
They're doing power of attorneys. They're doing, so it's really important because these are all very costly things that our parents have to do. I mean,
Very needed, right?
Yeah, sure. Because when that child turns 18, they're an adult legally.
Correct.
And so you need to make sure that you do have, the paperwork. And, so we're moving away, luckily, from very restrictive guardianships where you take away a lot of the ability to make their own decisions.
Wow.
And you're kind of weighing it to say, well, maybe my child is able to needs help in decision making.
You could do specific,
yes,
specialize. How do you say it?
Sometimes you need targeted areas where
Right.
you limit their rights.
So you could add things that they could do
Sure.
and give them that right to
Right.
do.
And other times you could just say, well, I'm going to help them with decisions on finances, decisions
that's
on the medical
great.
piece. So you can take, again, that individual, very unique person and say what they can and they can't do, and be able to then say, okay, well, where do we need them? Sometimes all you need is a power of attorney. And so that you can have the right
Yeah,
to
because
go into medical appointment or help them with, finances.
the way I would know it is once you take total guardianship of the child, and then they don't have any rights to anything.
Correct.
The parents are the ones that make
Have
all their decisions.
all the decision-making power.
But this way, that gives them
There's flexibility.
Flexibility.
There's flexibility.
I've never known
Yeah,
that.
there's flexibility.
Thank you
So
for
there's a
sharing.
lot. There's a lot that you have to learn,
yes.
and that's part of what we do. So
Wow, that's
we are honoring
wonderful.
Caba and Aida for the great work. I mean, our
That is great
families
work.
are just amazing, and then we're also honoring Carmen Pardiñas.
Pardiñas.
She is part of the SOAR transition program out in Miami Beach.
Okay.
So these are transition programs for when you have students that are 18 to 21, 22-year-olds. And it's a way of being able to, you extend your high school years
Okay.
for students with disabilities so they can have more time to develop into, those towards post-secondary skills, employment skills, independent living
That's
skills.
wonderful.
And so they have the ability to defer deployment in graduation. And she's doing an amazing job out there with her SOAR students. I mean, Carmen is devoted to these students. She's always at our trainings, even on Saturdays. She's sending families and the youth our way, doing a lot of work. It's a lot of heart that she puts into it. So
That's amazing.
you want to honor people with that kind of passion.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you're bringing these kids are being productive.
Sure.
They feel like they're doing something for their community.
And
They're
they are.
providing for
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, they're learning.
Making their parents proud.
Yeah. So you have a lot of these transition programs in the
Yes.
day school systems. They can be out in Baptist Hospital. They can be at the zoo. They can be in many different places. So they're garnering that hands-on skills that hopefully will help them once they actually, graduate and have to age out of special education.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that when I remember one of my children were small, I was like, and I sympathize for so many parents that their kids had a disability, how to transition them, right? And it takes a lot of courage for a parent to say, okay, they're going to go out to the workforce, right? Yeah. And, that's their biggest worry. And I'm so happy that someone is taking initiative to do that, which is so important.
Yeah, and you're talking
It gives
to
you
parents.
peace of mind.
Yeah, well, you're talking to parents in a very kind of like on their level and realizing that, yes, it might be, you might have apprehension, you might, the world sometimes isn't kind, but fear can't hold you back.
No fear.
And so you're having
option.
very honest conversations of saying, well, this is not a child anymore. You need to be
You're an
able
adult.
to, and so we have these
Young
one-on-one
adult,
meetings
yeah.
with the youth and the parent. And we're going over, let's say, a special checklist that we have that we say, okay, these are all the skills that if you want to be independent, you need to master. Mom, dad, you need to be able to help them so that, and this is where you're at. So let's, ascertain where you're at now, where you need to go so that it can meet the goals that you have.
Wow.
Because everybody has goals and dreams. And that's what you want to be able to have. You want to be able to foster those dreams.
Right.
Yeah.
And you need to find out what their dreams are.
Sure.
Of course, they're expressing it, so
of course
we need
everybody.
to listen. Yes,
you have to listen. You have to listen.
You have to listen.
Yeah.
So, what advice do you give a mom today that finds out that their child has a disability? What advice would you give them today? It's changed so much from when
it has, but you know what? At the core is really just saying. I like to say, embrace your new normal.
Okay,
I know that sounds
beautiful.
Special, very basic, but it is. It's a new normal way of life that you have to
embrace.
That you're gonna have to deal with. Embrace your child's the good and the bad. It's amazing how much our kids are different. So don't be afraid. I remember when I heard, that whole piece of David and autism and all that, and you do that one good cry. And then you shake yourself up and say, okay, how do I go on?
Like a great mom. Let's figure this out.
Head forward. And you may not have all the answers at the moment, but don't be afraid to seek help. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to really believe in your child and ask of others to believe in him or her. And just push forward, because
not only in your community, but also in your family, right?
Oh, everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere.
It is. It's very different, and the dynamic changes. And then, so there's a lot to deal with. Marriages break down easier because of the fact that the disability is a big component. You have your other children, their siblings, they're growing up. I mean, my oldest son experience with his brother is very different from a typical peer, siblings. And so it's helping them also understand and embrace and help their brother or sister. And
family therapy. For not only for yourself, but for your husband and for the siblings as well.
Because as you break in and you have that community support, you have that family,
that conversation that needs to happen.
You have to, and you want everybody to help you out, and you want this person to have the support that they need, because that's what we all want. We all need support many different ways. It's just sometimes people feel that because you have a disability, you have these limitations that you can't conquer forward. And that is not true. That is not true at all. We need to, our other tagline is dream big for kids with disabilities.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I love that hashtag because it is true. We all have to dream big for kids with disabilities.
Amen.
We have to be part of it, but it's not just the token. It's really opening up as a community, as it's really everybody doing their little part,
right,
to realizing that we all need to be, part of the world around us. Yes. And have a right and
embrace it.
Yeah. And be provided opportunities. And opportunities look very different for everybody, but being able to do that. Yeah.
So if someone wants to reach out to you and wants more your resources, how can they get in touch with Parent to Parent?
It's real easy. All they have to do is give us a call, 305-271-9797. They can go on our website, ptopmiami.org. We have a lot of information there. We don't make parents wait, Yolanda. We are really helping them within a day or two. We really do. We work with 1,500 families a year, so it's a lot of families. And sometimes families have more than one kid, more than one child with a disability.
Wow.
So we're really helping them. And we just start from there and we say, okay, where are you and how can we help you and get them to a better place?
Well, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. It's from the heart. We have a lot of good people on staff.
Well, I spoke to Hilda. She's wonderful.
She's wonderful. And we have all our education support specialists, our parents. They are truly, living the same day to day. And so we're all growing and learning. And, they may have been starting at some point, and now, they've been able to do a little bit more for their child. They want to give back, and that's what we're all doing. And a good board that also wants to support our organization, that they believe in our mission. So it really takes all of us coming together.
Teamwork.
Yeah. And everybody just getting it.
Nothing in life is done by one person.
No, there really
about
isn't.
A group of people that have a purpose and they love what they're doing, and teamwork.
Yeah.
And
I always tell my staff, we're all interconnected, we all
put our little piece in it.
Yeah, from the flyers that we put out to the, website that we do, to the trainings that we put together for families, to the one-on-one support. Yeah. We all matter, and we're there for the families. And we do. Everybody in my office does touch a family and speaks to a family in very many different ways, whether it's a survey, whether it's that initial call. I mean, our receptionist is, making sure that parents say, no, it's okay. Don't worry. They'll be able to help you, and giving that comforting voice. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
You have this calmness. Thank you so much for that calmness. You gave me some calmness today. It's always wonderful talking to people that have that energy.
Thank you.
So thank you for that.
I appreciate it.
And I wish you all the success in the event.
Thank you.
I hope I could attend.
I hope so.
I hope so. I would love to be there. And all the success to your foundation, to the foundation. I want to thank everybody for being here with me today again. I love doing this. I love sharing wonderful women's stories and foundations. Women are making so much of a difference in our community, and I want to bring more light to them. So thank you for being here with me today. And remember, always believe and always be hopeful. I think this year the word is being hopeful. Be hopeful, and everything's going to be okay. Have a blessed day, guys. Until next time, thank you.